Well, the protesting of our national anthem is now filtering down into our schools. Last week, an entire youth football team of players aged 7 and 8, they took a knee during the anthem. You can see it there. And on Monday, a California school district the honor band played the anthem on one knee before the Oakland's baseball game there. And earlier in the show, we told you about the Louisiana school district requiring student athletes to stand during the anthem. This, of course, as a youth league in Texas, is avoiding the controversy altogether by canceling the anthem before their games. Here to share their thoughts, a panel of politically active moms. I'm so excited to get all of your takes on this. This is what the country's been talking about. We want to hear how you've been talking about it and your kids. Just quickly, how many of you have kids that play in sports right now? Okay, well, Beth, let's start with you. You said you had a son that plays football.
I do. Yes, I have a son who's a junior in high school, and he does play football. And absolutely, it has been conversation definitely over the last few weeks, especially because we also went to the Buffalo Bills football game last Sunday. And there was a lot of controversy at that game. You know, what we talk about is there was a time in our country where the older generation actually taught the younger generation how to show respect. And, you know, that's not being done anymore. We have an entire generation that's, instead of acting and doing what's right, they're acting on their feelings. And, you know, it's not respectful. It's not honorable. We don't believe it's the right thing to do. We need to show respect for our country. And my son absolutely believes that way also.
And respect for that flag. Jeannie, you also have a son that's a freshman, right? Playing football.
At this very minute.
At this minute. So how I'm sure you've had these conversations with him. How do those go?
Yeah, I have two sons. One's in 9th grade playing football. The other's in college. And, of course, I'm a professor. And this is one of the most heated exchanges we've had all semester. We start out every class talking about what's going on in the world and in politics. And this is one of the most heated exchanges we've had among college students. And I think for my son, he's really torn by this issue. He's a huge New England Patriots fan. And when he saw Tom Brady and the others lock hands and he saw people go down on their knees, he's also a very patriotic person who supported Donald Trump. And so he felt very torn by this entire issue because on the one hand, he wants to support the players and the teams and he's sensitive to the racial inequality issues. And on the other hand, he really feels like there should be respect. And he's at a private Catholic school where they really instill that in him. And so I think a lot of the young men there, it's a very big football program, feel really similarly torn by this issue. And they want to support their brothers on the field. And they also want to be patriotic. And they want to be sensitive to these racial issues that they feel are part of their generation and what they're experiencing.
And we want that patriotism as part of our next generation coming up. Kathy, your kids are homeschooled. It doesn't mean that they are not talking about this as well. They're not passionate.
They are. You know, and as a black mother, when I look into the eyes of my black children, everything within me wants to instill in them that they are limitless, that they are fearfully and wonderfully made, that they have actually been knitted together with purpose. So how bleak is it for parents, for a certain group of parents to ingrain in their children that because you're black in America, you will be oppressed? That's a false narrative to begin with. But how bleak is that that is the narrative, that because you're black, because of the color of your skin, you will be considered less than. You will be considered to be oppressed in some fashion. Not only is it bleak, but it's an oppressive cloud that will hang over the heads of these little impressionable souls all the days of their lives. And so as a mother, when I look into the eyes of my black children, I want to instill in them that in America, the great equalizers is the willingness to educate yourself and the willingness to work hard for what it is that you want, and you can achieve anything here.
Succeed. There does seem to be, Tiffany, this misconception today that you're speaking to, Kathy, that if you are not supporting kneeling during the national anthem, that you then do not support racial equality, right? That you are against blacks getting what everyone deserves.
Right.
Is that fair?
You know what, Abby, this weighs really heavily on me. My dad played for 11 years in the Major League Baseball and founded the Major League Baseball Players Alumni Association. So this is definitely something that hits home for me. And what I would tell my children is to consider the original intent outlined by Colin Kaepernick, which was to, you know, I would ask them to consider which group is the most effective at raising awareness of issues of ongoing social injustice and systemic oppression. And history is cyclical. So as history considers Colin Kaepernick and the ripple effects that are felt by this particular protest, how will history look upon him? And when should you speak up? When should you speak out?
Dr. Janine, how do you feel about that?
I agree. I think that Colin Kaepernick is a hero. And as I talk to, I do. And as I talk to, I see some of the Giants, I see some of the Jets as my patients. And as I talk to them and I talk to my daughter, I do think that what they're doing is they're taking a knee against racial inequality and against police brutality. And that's, I believe, what Kaepernick intended. And then I looked at the flag code. And the flag code says that you can't wear a flag on your T-shirt. You can't put the flag horizontal. It doesn't say anything about taking a knee and that being disrespectful. My husband is an ex-captain in the Army. My father-in-law is a vet. I have many, many members that are very patriotic of my family. We do believe in patriotism, but I do think that the intent and the spirit is just to equalize. This is about a mouth of equalizing, and that is their platform. And I agree with what Tiffany was saying about this is their platform, and they want to broadcast to the world.
Kim, I know you're wanting to jump in. I want to make sure we get everyone's voice here. Kim, go ahead.
And I don't disagree that every child should have the ability to express who they are and what they want to express. I think that message has gotten muddled. We have a young man in my daughter's school who won't stand for the Pledge of Allegiance anymore. When asked about it, he said, because I don't have to, because the football players don't. I don't think he understood, what the background and what the purpose was, and it comes off as being anti-patriotic. And I guess my point is to the hypocrisy that we talked about earlier. If it's okay for students to take a stand on racial inequality, and it absolutely is. It's their prerogative to do that. Then they should also be able to take a knee and pray before a game. They should also be able to express themselves however they want to. My one caveat with my own daughter is, you got to understand what you're doing, and you have to do it for a purpose, not just because other people are doing it.
That's great advice. Deneen, I want to get you in here, and Rebecca. Deneen, go ahead.
Well, I think the NFL is alienating their fan base, and you see the reaction.
We've already seen that. We've seen the ratings, and now we're seeing they're not kneeling as much, and that's obviously for a reason.
And people are speaking with their wallet. People spend thousands of dollars to be entertained. They don't want to be lectured to and see all these protests that are going on. They should do these protests on their own time. There's another place and time to do so. As for the children, I think it's really unfortunate that they are being misguided by adults, people that they look up to. I am old school. You stand up, you take off your hat, put your hand over your heart, and honor our country, honor those who have given the ultimate sacrifice, and honor those who are serving in the military today.
Absolutely. It sends this bigger message, Rebecca, that we can protest, we can have free speech, we can stand up for what we believe in, but we should not disrespect what this country was founded on, the Pledge of Allegiance and the flag as one of those.
Hand on heart, this is our one tradition, Abby, that we all share as Americans. And remember what that anthem is about. It's about an aching doubt. A prisoner in Baltimore Harbor watches his friends and neighbors under bombardment, and he wonders, is our flag still there? Yeah. Did they survive? It's about doubt. You don't have to believe 100%. America doesn't have to be perfect for you and me and all of us to find enough good to put our hands on our hearts for 2 minutes. An F-22 pilot over Syria flies an 8-hour mission. We can put our hands over our hearts for 2 minutes and respect our beloved flag.
Absolutely. I can't help but think about our military members serving overseas right now in places like Kabul, spending that time watching sports, some of their favorite times in the day, and what they're thinking about all of this playing out. Guys, thank you so much, ladies, for your perspective. Also important. Really appreciate that.